All right, welcome to the Senior Home Business Channel. This is the live show. This is Matt Stafford coming to you from California. Hope you're doing well. We're going to get into a lot of different things today. Brittany will be with me. She's out and about in the car because you know what? We actually do this business. We actually help seniors. We actually help families, and we want you to get into this business and help families as well. If you have a desire to for seniors and all the rest. But we want to get into today about the senior living experiences. And I'm going to go over today a 2024 survey report. And before we get into the survey report, we just want to remind you, as we always do in the last probably 3 or 4 weeks, because there's just a little bit of confusion out there, that Senior Home Business is not affiliated with Mom's House. We do not endorse Mom's House, its staff, its sales practices. And man, they sell the Senior Referral Academy 80% of the content, not 100%. And right now, the Senior Referral Academy is our introductory course in the senior home business community. And you can get it at a fraction of the cost of what you would get at Mom's House. So you would actually get it over here just for $999. I know some of you just fell off the chair, but hey, getting to a business that's going to help others and put a lot of money in your pocket at the same time, what price tag can you really put onto that? So we're going to get into this article. I'm super pumped about it. Talking about senior living experiences. And so what are some experiences that are out there that people are going through? I mean, it's real life stuff, you guys. This is a business. We're helping families. We're helping residents. It's not a, let me just go make a buck. I mean, if that is your mentality, if that is your mindset, please do not get in this industry. So to Senior Home Business, we provide senior living coaching to working professionals. If you'd like to know more about who we are and what we do and more about this business, you can drop down and click the link below. If you'd like to join our senior living online group, it's free, doesn't cost you anything. Now, again, for clarification purposes, you will not get access to the courses that are online on our platform, but you can drop down and join a group down there if you like as well. But we want to get into this. You guys realize that baby boomers born between 1946 and 1964, and that's the category, right? Baby boomers, that's the time frame we're talking about. Do you realize by 2030, baby boomers will have reached 65 years of age? I mean, that's incredible. How many baby boomers are going to reach by 2030? So we got Brittany in the car. Brittany, I've already given a little bit of an intro, and I told them that we actually do this business. We're out and about helping seniors. And so if you're watching live, great. We'd love to have you drop some comments down below. If you have questions, that's one thing I want to tell you guys today. If you have questions, drop it down in the comment section. In the chat, go ahead and put where you're from, like what state, what city, are you in the business, that kind of thing. But if you have any questions or comments that you'd like Brittany or myself to answer back, put it down in the comment section, because in the chat, it's Brittany, I don't know about you, but it's just so hard to do a show and respond to the chats. I don't know. It's just very difficult, very difficult. But hey, welcome, Brittany. Like I told everybody, you're in the car.
I'm late.
What's going on today, man? You out there helping families? I mean,
I am. Yeah, we're touring new communities, helping some families, doing some family meetings. So I apologize. I was a couple minutes late. I was just wrapping up a call with one of our clients.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you couldn't put your client on hold for this?
No.
Absolutely not. I wouldn't expect anything else, Brittany. That's seniors and families come first. I'm telling you, if a senior called me right now on a live show, I'd answer the phone. There's times my wife and I out on our date and the phone rings. Guess what? I answer the phone. Yep. And that's the important thing in this business, right, Brittany? You need to be a person of empathy, but you got to be a person that's available. I bump into some people that are in this business that they have this 9-to-5 mentality. And I get it. I used to have that when I first started in my agency. I was a 9-to-5 guy up until 2018. That's when I officially became an entrepreneur. And so even when I started this business, I kind of had a 9-to-5 mentality. And I thought, I can't do this business and doing that thing, right? My goodness, man. Well, Brittany, we're going to get into this. Yeah, you've got to be available. And I understand that sometimes people think, okay, it's work-life balance and all that. But, it's something you have to decide to do. If you want the work-life balance mentality, that's fine. But I'm here to tell you that for me, and I believe Brittany too, our work-life balance is work is just life. This is who we are. So whether I'm at dinner or whether I'm at home, whether I'm wherever, I'm getting ready to go to Vegas tomorrow. And if I get a call, and now if I'm on the plane, I probably can't answer, Brittany. God, I have to get the voicemail and return the call. But when I'm in Vegas and I'm at this mastermind with Bradley, I can't wait to go. Shout out to Bradley out there. It's going to be awesome. This ugly guy right here is going to be on the front row. I want the spit coming from Bradley and just get it all. So we're going to bring that information back to our students, you guys. So it's all about branding. This is kind of off the topic a little bit, but the whole deal is it's all about branding, the mastermind. It's 60 people. Yours truly got VIP. So I'm like one of 15, maybe 20 the most that will be in like this private dinner and all kinds of stuff that we're going to be doing. And I'm gaining that information from my own company, number one. But number two, guess what I do when I start doing something fairly well or whatever? I pass it right down to our students. So that's what we do in the senior home business. We want to add value to our students. But Brittany, I want to get into this article, man. This survey. There it is. Oh my gosh, here it is coming up. Okay, Matt, let's get this all together here. There we go. All right. So the 2024 survey of a number of seniors. I can't recall, Brittany, how many they actually polled. I think it was 700 and something, wasn't it?
It was close to 1,000, I believe.
Okay. I couldn't remember exactly, but it kind of gives us a good indicator as to how people are feeling, because the things that we want to get into today, you guys, I've got it on my sheet of paper right here. So pay attention. Hopefully this wakes you up. But we're going to get into senior living community search. Okay. What people are thinking when they're looking to get into a senior living community, but then also the researching process. What are their options? And we're going to give you some hard, cold facts, man. Some of these, little things in here are not pretty, I don't think. I mean, some of them I read, I kind of went, but it's real life, guys, what people are feeling, what they're going through. Number three, and we're going through 5 of them, deciding between senior living communities. How do you decide? We're going that. Number 4, recent senior living community resident experiences. I'll show you a little bit of the article on that. And finally, finding the best senior living option. I'll click a link at the end of this video. If you're still on, you're listening, stay on, don't leave. I'll click a link and I'll show you a couple communities in my own area. And then I'll highlight whether they're good or not. I don't know if I should do that or not, but it's just information that we have, right? So let's get into this article, Brittany. It says the U.S. Census Bureau has predicted that between 2023 and 2030, the population of those over 65 will grow by 18%. The only reason I bring this up because I want to get into the survey and get into some of the things that people are dealing with. But if you're contemplating getting in this industry, this should be a motivating factor. I don't know. I mean, because sometimes people, Brittany, they'll ask me, says, well, isn't this industry saturated? Isn't there just a whole lot of people doing this? Man, it's far from that. I don't know about your area, Brittany, but we could use another 20 probably referral agents in my own area. I often kid about this, but it's actually true. I got a lot of my friends that are in real estate. So when I think of an industry that's saturated, it's real estate. I'm sorry if I offend all my real estate friends out there, but my gosh, everybody's buying and selling and listing and, oh my God, real estate. And I appreciate it. I know it's a great service you guys are offering. Thank you so much for what you're doing. I'm kind of half joking, but it is getting a little bit saturated. So let's get into it, Brittany, if we would. The senior living search. In this article, let's goes through some challenges and concerns that we have and that these residents have had. And let's go through some of the challenges. I don't know if, Brittany, if you can actually see this on your screen or not.
Yeah, sorry, you might get my ugly forehead, but.
All right. No. It's just, I know being on the phone, it's awfully hard to read these kind of things. And guys, when you get to be my age, you're 55, you got these little readers, and I used to joke on a friend of mine when I was working a 9-to-5 job, and he had on his phone the text that was so large. And this was back in the day before I needed these little guys. And I remember being across the room, and I couldn't actually read all what was on this phone, but I was like, good night, dude. Your deal is like on PowerPoint. I mean, it's crazy. Why don't you make it a little smaller? And so, he was of age, he was going through some of that. So how many are out there like that? Put that down in the comment section. You're at the place where you're like, Oh my goodness, man. I need these readers. So let's get through some challenges and concerns. Let me show you this article again here. Pull it up. Here's some of these real life challenges that people have experienced in this survey. Number one, loneliness. Man, 1 in 3 residents, Brittany, have expressed in this survey loneliness. And this is since, guys, this is not before they move into the assisted living or senior living community. This is after they move in. And so loneliness, drop down here. There's 4 more. Loss of independence, cost challenges, obviously. And this is again after they moved in. Are they going to have enough money to pay for assisted living, senior living going forward? Quality of health care, issues, concerns, all that stuff, Brittany. So I don't know if you caught any of that, Brittany. I know you're in the car.
I apologize. I don't know what happened.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But loneliness kind of just spoke to me a little bit because we help seniors. Again, guys, you don't know about the industry, no cost, no obligation. We help seniors getting into a senior living community. But man, loneliness, this is after they've moved in, right? If I'm reading this article right, they're expressing loneliness. You ever hear about that, or just in your experience, any feedback from the families, how their residents are responding?
Yeah, we stay in touch. I know we teach that as far as when you're building this business and working with families, we're here to advocate. So we definitely stay in touch with them. We get a lot of feedback. I would say loneliness, and I think it's also sometimes hard for the seniors to adapt to new people. I've had this quote, and I can understand why families would say this, that it's like starting at a new high school. It's like when you're young and you start at a new high school, they already have cliques, or there's just a lot of things that they're adjusting to. They are not only grieving the fact that they just lost maybe a home or their beautiful property, that they're on a golf course, or they're grieving a 4-bedroom beautiful home they were in for so many years. So emotionally, it's already hard. Then you throw them into a community. This is their words, that they don't know anybody yet, that they are just getting acclimated. They have a whole new routine. They get to learn not only the residents, but the staff. So yes, they're lonely and they might not feel like they fit in immediately. I know communities do an amazing job of getting residents acclimated, but there's a lot of loneliness that comes with that. Also, they could be lonely because they lost their spouse recently. So they're going through so much change and learning a whole new environment at the same time. So yes, I think loneliness and just the ability to adapt to a brand new environment is a very common concern. And I think it's also a lot of reasons why families don't consider senior living earlier. I think the loneliness and the big change really does have an effect on the process as well.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. In my experience, it seems as though it's taken about 30 days or so for seniors to really get adjusted. And, again, guys, it's a new place. It's caregivers that you've never met before. Maybe you met them maybe on the tour, but come on, it's a few minute, hi, how are you doing? My name is. So now you're going from hi, my name is, to this person's actually taking care of you. The adjustment maybe in food. Oh my gosh, I'm not that picky. My wife doesn't think I'm that picky, which is great. Anything that's non-spicy, right? My wife loves spicy food. Brittany, do you like spicy food?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
You and I are a lot alike. My
No.
wife just craves it, and everything that she makes for me has to be on the mild side. And during COVID, I was fortunate to never get COVID, which that's great. I got tested twice, and God, I hated that thing in the nose. Anyway, that's another story. That thing just, I felt like the swab was going all the way to my brain. But anyway, there was one time I thought I had it because during that time, Brittany, for about 2 weeks, my taste buds changed. Oh my God, it changed, and I could eat spicy food. We had family over, some other friends, and my wife just made this really super, super spicy dish. I don't know what came of me, but I said, let me take a little chip and do that. And she's like, babe, this is extremely hot. Now, my wife says it's extremely hot. It's off the chart. I took a little, that wasn't too bad. Got a little bit more. For a solid 2 weeks thereafter, I could eat anything spicy and it tasted like it was nothing. And somewhere around just after 2 weeks, I reverted back to where I was. And I couldn't eat any more spicy food. Okay, enough of the spicy food talk, Matt. Goodness gracious. Let's get into the concerns. That's some of the challenges, loneliness, et cetera, loss of independence. And we get into the concerns, and there's a number of concerns there. But the number one concern is the quality of care offered to residents. Again, this is after they moved in. So loneliness is set in. That's a challenge. And now they're concerned about the quality of care. Brittany, kind of talk to us a little bit about this issue. Communities are doing their best, you guys. I really want to put a plug in for communities. No one's perfect. They're trying. I tried. I'm not perfect. But if you're lonely, you're feeling isolated, and you're overly concerned about the quality of care, how does that make a senior feel? Or just a person in general?
Yeah, not great. I think, and not again, great to communities. We love them. They're doing the best. I think a lot of it when it comes to they might overpromise, or during that portion where you're researching, they're getting very confident, in a community, and they move in. There could be just a little bit. No one's perfect, and those first 2 weeks, I tell families 2 to 4 weeks is going to be a learning curve. So your family member doesn't know these people; they don't know her. So they have to get to an agreement on what her care looks like. So that might not be perfect, and it probably never will be to 100%. But I think it really just it's hard on the resident, and sometimes they're already, again, lonely and just adapting to new things, and their expectations might not be ideal, or they have to come to a middle ground. So I think the first 2 to 4 weeks, I can totally understand where that concern is. Maybe the community overpromised. Maybe they just don't really
Yeah.
understand um,
Mm-hmm.
what that care is. Like maybe they're expecting, maybe the family thinks or thought that they come in every 30 minutes to check on mom, but maybe it's 2 hours. So there's just a lot of learning curve that I think goes into it. And just like getting to know the community getting to know the resident. And so I really think that's a large portion of why that concern is there. And it is hard on the resident. And I think it's hard to accept that it's going to take a little bit to get everything settled.
Absolutely. And guys, just as it's a concern for seniors, which that's where our heart is at, right? That's who we're ultimately assisting and helping. The community has challenges and concerns as well. And some of their challenges is, and we've talked about this before, Brittany, is that they're shortchanged a lot of times in staff. In large communities, it's no fault to them. It's just the nature of the beast. Typically, the large communities I deal with, for every 12 to 15 apartments, there's a caregiver. So I can see why the quality of care, we just went over that. That's a concern for the residents, is because they're like, man, when are they going to check on me? It's been a long time. And residents, guys, if you don't know, they have pendants or some form of communication with the staff, but those things don't always work either, right? They're mechanical pendants. The battery goes dead. I remember a story in the community I used to work with. There was a resident that was on the floor for about 6 hours. And the community immediately said, well, they all have pendants. Why didn't you push it? And the resident, the family member rather of the resident came to the concierge, came to the desk up front and was like, look, we're pushing it. Where's it? Where's the signal at? Who's hearing it? And I can't remember if it was the battery or it was just broken, but those things malfunction. It's just equipment. So, I can definitely see that. But let's get into researching senior living options. This article, God, this thing, I'm telling you guys, this should motivate you wanting to get into the industry. But my goodness, man, this is incredible. But, it said half the respondents said in-person tours of senior living communities were the most helpful means of researching senior living community. You realize they didn't say going online. They didn't say searching or asking my friends. Now, it's part of it. I think that's in there too. I think that's part of how they, the lower percentage said, hey, maybe my family, friends directed me somewhere. But the number one, at least half of these people, this tour said, the survey said in-person tour of a senior living community was most helpful. Brittany, speak to that a little bit. Why is an in-person tour so beneficial for families? Why does it bring clarification to what they're looking for?
Yeah. Anybody can say anything. Anybody can send pictures, send virtual tours. But when you go into a community, you get a feeling for a lot. So I always say use all of your senses, your sight, your smell, everything. You're getting a full idea of the community. Not only that, you're getting to see different residents. So you can see if residents are clean, are happy. I'm sure you've had this happen, that you're on a tour and a resident comes up to the family and says how great it is living there, how amazing everybody is, how that they just love living here. They can't wait for this new potential family to move in. And then there's always a comment saying, well, dang, I should put you on payroll, like as a joke, right?
Right.
Because the residents are selling the place. So I think it's super beneficial to get a really good feeling. Again, pictures, virtual tours, even a friend telling you that their mom went somewhere and they loved it, 10 years ago is not the same as going to get your own opinion. It will also give you a good idea of like, does that your family member or does that senior fit in with that community? Is it something they think that their loved one could be in? And then also just shopping, like you can get all of your questions answered when you're talking. Yes, you can talk on the phone or you could do a Zoom, but you're in the moment. The questions are coming up as you're on the tour. So you're not just guessing what a question might come up. You get to like maybe stop by and see a nurse. So you can really just get the full experience as opposed to just searching online and getting a list sent to you and having to make a decision that way.
Absolutely. And Brittany, going back to this article, this kind of blew me away. And I think I might have a little bit of clarification, at least in my own mind, what I'm thinking some of these people are feeling. But it says here that just 1 in 4 residents, so 26%, I think that's more like 25%. I don't know where the math comes, 1 in 4. Maybe that's just kind of a round number. But anyway, 26% said recommendations from a professional senior living advisor were most helpful in their search for senior living community. I would have anticipated that number being higher than 26%. My thought is, and guy, this is pure speculation out there, guys. It's not, any hardcore data and facts that I'm coming up with. But I wonder how many people that were surveyed, Brittany, in this article, or just doing this were surveyed, that they were a lot of people that went online through national companies and got their information. Versus, because I would like to know out of these people, how many went through a local referral agent and how many went through a national company. I'd have a hard time believing only 26% of local. And I could be wrong. Maybe I'm not that helpful. I don't know. Brittany, I thought we were kind of helpful, but I mean,
yeah,
are we helpful?
Yeah, no, I think we are. I would agree. I'm not, we know how our business works and how we teach our students too. I can't see how we wouldn't be. I just, from pure feedback from families and even communities that we do work with, I think we're extremely helpful. I can only imagine that was a national company that they went through. Just to speak to that, there's a lot of families that contact me after they've already contacted a national placement, referral kind of business, and they did not get the help they needed. So yes, I would agree that sounds like a national level kind of.
Because I have to admit, when I saw that percentage,
yeah,
it was like something just poof, right in the chest. I was like, man. And and what it did, guys, it caused me to say, hey, I need to do a better job. Mm-hmm. I need to do better. Now, it doesn't mean I don't do a good job, right? I like to think I do a good job. We've helped several hundred families over the years and a lot of compliments, things like that. But if you're in the business, whether this business or something else, let me give you a little bit of information. Always get better. Always strive to get better in what you're doing. When you fall into complacency, it's kind of off the subject. Yeah, don't make a subject, Brittany. But when you fall into complacency and you think you're all that, guess what? You're not all that. Mm-hmm. Look at any athlete out there. Look at any former business owner, had his business between 1 to 3 years, went bankrupt, all that stuff. There's always new challenges. So, okay, let's get in, Brittany, deciding between senior living communities. This article came out and said that their number one way of they decided for their select the senior living community was the caregiving staff hired per resident. There's that ratio we always talk about, right?
Yeah, that's important. I would say that's the number one question that comes up when you're touring with families as well. So that is everyone's concern, especially in your larger communities that have the long hallways with 20 apartments on one floor. They want to know how many caregivers will be taking care of their loved ones on that floor.
Absolutely. Because I mean, when a family walks into a community, and every state probably has the most beautiful communities around, right? I mean, and kudos to people that build senior living communities, the service they provide, all what they're doing. But sometimes it's not necessarily how beautiful the building looks. Right. I had some when I used to work for an assisted living community because it looked like a resort. I had some families walk in and go kind of like me going, wow, this is beautiful. And then they had their loved one with them. They had a very different viewpoint. They went, it's awfully big.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they're going to this situation right here, like it's awfully big. I wonder how much one-on-one I will get. Now, they don't get one-on-one care. I get it. But man, when they only get seen twice a day or something like that, and your ADLs, activities of daily living, is up, you got maybe some behavioral issues or whatever it may be. You just need some more tender loving care, man. We all need TLC. Come on, who needs TLC? Drop it down in the comment section. We all need TLC. Residents are no different. And so, gosh, that we need to make sure. That's a great question, you guys. If you are searching for your loved one or you're in this business, man, ask about that ratio. I mean, how many residents they have that they go, oh my gosh, we have 80 residents in this community. Great. How many caregivers you have? And then don't just base it on that number, because that might be the totality of the amount of caregivers they have in total, right? Totality. I mean, the same thing. Total and totality, right? Yeah, we'll get the English language correct here in just a moment. But so let's say they got 20 caregivers. Well, guess what? They're not all working the same shifts. So you have to break it down how many caregivers you have per shift, how many floors they have, how many residents they have. Just do some basic math, man. I think that's probably why we learned math when we were in school, huh? So it's good. All right, let's go through some senior living community resident experiences. Let me scroll down here in this article. Right down here, got some. It says, with the big decision made and resident moved in, we wanted to know how residents felt about their selection. So they want to know how, okay, you made your selection. Well, how did you feel? Respondents' top 5 concerns about senior community life now, this is after they moved in, were quality of health care. And then beyond the quality of health care, number 2 was, where's number 2? I lost it. I lost the report. Number 2 is safety and security. Oh my God. I mean, that's huge, guys. Again, going to a new place. Is the place locked up at night? Do they have security? I've got a community not far from where I live. Well, actually, it's a little bit further now. I just moved, Brittany. So I moved 2 months ago. Well, it used to be a little closer to where I used to live. They have a guard on the inside. And they also have a security car patrolling the community. Now, not everybody has that. Some communities have an open door policy. Well, you have to ask yourself, are you okay with the open door policy? I'm not trying to judge one, and compare one to the other, but you have to say, okay, which would you prefer? And know that going in, because if you would prefer, let's say, a guard walking the grounds or a security car patrolling the community, then that'd be a great question to ask, because some communities don't do that. What's your level of experience, Brittany, with security? I want to know about that. And whether it be Texas and Missouri, do you find that most of your communities have some form of security or not?
So I would say no, not as far. I mean, they do have somebody on site 24/7. I know at the community that I specifically worked in, they would have like a night shift man that would be there to be that form of security. And then obviously there was somebody there during the day. Not a lot of security guards type of situation. I know some communities in the city, in my areas, do have a little bit more of a strict security policy. They have a lot of cameras. They do have a third party that looks at them. But as far as somebody on site designated to security, not usually. That's my experience. Usually there's staff that are kind of meant to walk the grounds at night.
Yeah, good. All right, you guys. I want to close with this, Brittany, because this is how many people, and not being judgmental, because if I was not in the business, full disclosure, this is how I would do it. I'm just all about, let's be efficient. Let's have other people do some work. Like, that's why I've got a gardener. That's why I got a pool guy. That's why I got certain things, because it's just being more efficient, right? That's just not the best use of my time. But here we go down to, we click this link. It's the U.S. News Location Guided Online Search Tool. And it'll take you to over here, and you can insert your zip code where you live. So I'm going to insert my zip code. It would help if I hit search, Brittany. I think that might help. And so what it's going to do is going to pull up some communities, okay, in the area. So the Terraces has a very beautiful community in the area. And you kind of go through, but this is kind of basic information that it will tell you Also, you can find this information typically on Google, things like that. But we also just want to, people out there to be aware that if you go to this right here and you click on one of these communities, you can call them directly. Now, a couple things about this, understand that there's some national companies that have created landing pages, and the landing pages look very similar, if not exact, to what the community looks like. So you want to make sure when you get somebody on the phone, if you choose to call a community, make sure you're actually talking to someone at the community, not a national company. Like we've gone over before, national companies, they get your information and they try their best. Again, it's just a different business model, but you got to be aware of what you're getting involved with. And so what they do is they disseminate your information to about 25, 30 different communities based on where you live, based on what your ADLs, behaviors are. They kind of go through same questionnaire kind of that we do in the senior home business community, Brittany, and the Senior Placement Institute. Go to seniorhomebusiness.com, see the Senior Placement Institute. That will be aired officially the 20th of this month. I'm so excited about that, Brittany. Anyway, I won't get on that, but you want to make sure you're talking to the community and getting the information from them. I would be very hesitant to put your information online, but to go to this right here, like you can look on, let's see, Fairwinds. I'll pick on Fairwinds because I love Fairwinds. Okay. And they got a 4.2 out of 5. Okay. But the one right above it has a higher rating. Can I tell you something? Now, these are different. Now, these are different. It's more of assisted living, it's independent. So, okay, I get that. But I'm just talking about the overall, how the place is run. No offense, but I would pick Fairwinds any day of the week and twice on Sunday. That's just me. No, Grove. No, I appreciate you, Sunrise. I know you guys do a great job. Don't hate me. I got a referral agreement with you. I love it. Appreciate it. And it's different. I know, again, the obvious is they're assisted living, man, and they're independent. I get that. I'm just based on the quality. And sometimes when you see these ratings, 4.7 out of 5 and 4.2 out of 5, it's not always the whole story, Brittany, is it? I mean, isn't there a little bit more we need than just, all right, let's give them a 4.7 because they got all these great reviews, or they got a 4.2 because somebody was unhappy. Isn't there more to the story?
Yeah, there's a lot more. It could be employees that are reviewing things. Online reviews are great to take in consideration, I think. Some things do matter, but they're not always accurate. So any website, like you were just on Google, I mean, even like the national companies have their own reviews, and a lot of times those people have never even lived there. They might have just toured there and then make a comment. So you have to be really cautious on looking at those online reviews. I do think there's some value to them. I'm not saying there's not. I myself do check them out just in case. If there is a very upset family member or if there's a really happy family member, sometimes they will comment. And I do appreciate seeing those things. I think it does matter. I have seen the communities in my area, if they don't do such a great job, their Google reviews and things like that plummet down quick. So if you see that like an executive director has changed or the company is going through a hard time, it usually reflects in Google almost 9 out of 10 times. So I do check those things. But there's way more to that. And I know you're probably going to speak about this, but that's when referral agents come into play.
Come on. Don't just who? Referral agents?
Referral agents, yeah, local referral agents.
People like you in the car out working?
Yeah, yeah, because we're in them, and I'm sure you'll go on to talk about that. But we're not just looking at one way to give our feedback. I know I pitch and I tell everyone that I'm unbiased to a point. I'm unbiased, that I'm not biased because someone pays me more money, or I'm not biased because I like that marketing director. I'm biased to, I would not place my loved ones in certain communities, and I'm upfront about that. And I'm biased to what I would recommend for your loved one based on their needs, but there's no one influencing me to review a community better than somebody else. So at the end of the day, referral agents are there to be your unbiased, to an extent, advocate. I know we talk about that. That's more than Google and more than all these national companies could ever have. We're in them. We just visited, 2 today. So we're in them. We see them. We're not just going for one tour at 11 o'clock. We might be there for an event at 7 p.m. So we get to see a lot of the community and know a lot about them.
Absolutely. And there's so much you can get from that, right, Brittany? It's not just walking in and seeing the building, the pictures, the videos, which I'm a big proponent of virtual tours. But I tell everybody, you cannot get the vibe. You cannot get a good feeling. You cannot get is this the right place without doing an in-person tour. You just can't. You don't base it on that. I can point out in virtual tours the pros and cons, and I don't really point them out per se. The families do when they watch it. They go, oh, mom would like that. Mom wouldn't like that. And the only thing about the virtual tours that really helps is that they're able to say, man, if they do think mom would like it, it builds anticipation when they go on the in-person tour. But if they see something they don't like, then they just refuse to go on the in-person tour to save some time. However, saying all that, I'm in full agreement with Brittany that the in-person tour is paramount. And Brittany and myself and others that are walking the halls, these communities that know the staff, that know what goes on, there's probably a better chance that we're going to know a little more of the trends that happen versus somebody just kind of pops in once in a blue moon, or somebody doesn't even pop in at all. National companies. I don't know if you guys actually go out there. Maybe you do. Maybe you do. Don't have any hate. If you have any hate, just throw it down in the comment section. I'll send some love back to you. That's okay. That'll be all right. But Brittany, thank you so much today. I hope this was helpful to everybody. And again, if you want to join a free senior living group online, be a part of a group. I say free. Again, you have no access to the courses. So I'm not trying to rope you into something, giving you false hope and belief that you're going to have all access to all our courses because you're part of the group. That's not the case, but at least gives you a little bit of your feet wet in terms of there's actual people out there like Brittany, myself, and others and almost said academy again. It's not the academy anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. In the Senior Placement Institute. Man, come on. Anyway, I still think it's the most complete, comprehensible information on planet Earth when it comes to the senior referral business. The Senior Placement Institute, love it. Anyway, but you can do that. Or if you want to know more about getting involved in this business, you can click down below and schedule a consultation with me. But until next time, Brittany, thank you so much. Community, thank you so much. Drop down a comment down below. Any questions you have, even if you're watching the recorded version, I'll try my best to get back to you as soon as I can, because we do work for a living, right, Brittany?
Yeah,
we do
like
work. So, I'm in my office right now, but I might not be later, and I'm on a plane tomorrow, so I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. But I promise you, I will circle around back to you because all you guys mean so much to me. Until next time, God bless. Have a great day.